Bramborough back with some Grand Tactician Civil War, our CSA campaign, and the 1.06 beta. And we're into May, mid-May, 1862. So what's going on here? Well, following the naval battles we had toward the end of the last episode, I was just advancing time a little bit in order to finish out the delivery of the cav weapons and the rifled artillery, because those were quite close. And I wanted to kind of get those farmed out to the various units before going into and recording another episode. And I was keeping an eye on Price's army out in Missouri, since he's the one that kind of gets most of the attention, and I wasn't watching here, and boom! We have quite a large battle about to occur here in Northern Virginia. Irvin McDowell has come back across the Potomac River and has made contact, and he is reinforced by McClellan. I assume McClellan, the Army of Occupation. And we've got all three corps plus the 2nd Engineers, don't forget that horse artillery, of Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia engaged. And it is pretty darn close to dead even. We have slightly more troop numbers. A little bit more infantry, not quite as much cavalry, but there are a couple of brigades, one in the 2nd Corps, and apparently one in the 1st Corps, with low morale. And that's those, I think those have to be those Kentucky brigades that I was talking about in an earlier episode. In Kentucky, state support is so low. I don't think these are going to be, we'll see when we get in there, but I don't think those are going to be wavering brigades. I think they're just going to be plain broken and not available. So you subtract that, about 4,500 men, and we are about as close to dead even in troop count as can be. That said, we got a lot more guns. So hopefully we've got some nice open ground to use all those guns. No rifles yet. No rifled artillery yet. That was what I was trying to get delivered. But we got a lot of there's a lot of howitzers that are going to be banging away. Okay, let's get into this and see what we got. $58,000 with McDowell. That seems a little high. 66. That's really going to be more like 62. Almost certain to be the Manassas, the Bull Run map. I'd be extremely surprised if it were anything else. And that's a pretty varied map. Parts of it are open. Parts of it are kind of broken up. We'll just have to see what it gives us for objectives. We are in a defending situation. That's good news. And also the Army of Occupation, let's just see what this says. Okay, they're saying 3 hours for the arrival of is it still McClellan? Yes. Okay, so about 3 hours. So that puts it at just after 7 p.m., 1900. And we are in May, which is a 1900 sunset. So I think McClellan's going to appear during the overnight deployment phase. And after 4 p.m., with less than 3 hours to go, we might get spotting, but I don't think there's going to be any major combat today. Let's just take a quick look at these units. Condition or overview. Well, nothing's jumping out at me. Which brigade is our problem? Everyone has a consistent fighting spirit 95. So everyone should have a good ceiling, and then it doesn't really tell you about current reported morale, just blank. So I'm not really sure which of our yeah, okay. Walker's brigade is a Kentucky brigade. 95 fighting spirit. So they're not limited in that. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. We'll take a look at the brigade itself once we get in here. Oh, and I thought we were going to have all of our... Oh, we only have Jackson's Corps on the field at the moment. 2nd Corps. Longstreet expected in 3 hours. The initial battle window in the campaign map lied to us a little bit there. So Longstreet in 3 hours, 3rd Corps and the Magruder in about 4 hours. Well, guess what? These guys aren't going to be on the field until after the overnight deployment phase either. Where was the objective? Right here. Is there just one? Yeah. Island Ford. Right here in the middle of the map. Federal entry point here, a Confederate one here at Centerville. That's interesting. Federal here, Federal here. Okay, so we just have 2 Federal entry points. And even though our deployment zone extends up this ways quite a bit, we don't have any of those kind of giveaway flat spots in our deployment zone indicating that they're butting up against the federal deployment zone. If I had to bet, I would think McDowell is probably spawning here. It's not something that's just rock solid, but on the campaign map he was coming from the northwest. And it's not rock solid. I've seen exceptions, but generally speaking, more often than not, armies tend to kind of come in a general orientation from where they were on the campaign map. I think he's over here. And if I had to bet, I would guess that McClellan is probably going to come in over here. Don't know for sure. Okay, well, if he comes from here, he's going to want to cross the run at Sudley, most likely, which would be quite a nice place to deny him that. I'm not sure we can get up there in time, though. I bet we could, starting from here. On the other hand, we have 42 engineering points. That's a lot of parapets. I'm kind of thinking maybe just a strong defensive line all the way across here. Right, anchor the right here around Island Ford, just behind it, like right in these woods. We're going to have 3 corps. We come all the way across here and kind of anchor the left, maybe kind of up in here. And just let McDowell McClellan come on down and see what they can do. McClellan probably is going to want to, they may try to flank us here. In any case, I've got a bit of defensive position building to do, a little bit of scouting to do. I may change my mind on the defensive position. In any case, I'll be back. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm going with the position down here that I talked about before, and I've thrown a nice line of parapets just all the way across here. That used up all the engineering points. And but I've got Jackson's corps all spread out across the deployment zone, as you can see, and here's why. Because Magruder's 3rd Corps is entering the map here on the Warrenton Turnpike. Magruder from Warrenton, Longstreet from Fairfax Courthouse. So Magruder over here, oh by the way, on an uncontrolled entry point by the way, and Longstreet will be coming in here, Fairfax Courthouse. So I got Jackson's guys strung out like this, so that and I'm only doing this because we are less than 3 hours from sunset. Otherwise I would not. But I think we can get to the deployment phase without any meaningful contact. And so I'm doing this so that all 3 of the Corps' deployment zones for the overnight phase are contiguous. They're not separated. And that way I can just redeploy them all in the position overnight. If I concentrated Jackson's Corps here, then overnight Magruder would show up here, Longstreet would show up here, but the deployment zones may not connect and they actually have to march into position. So that's why I'm doing this the way that I am. It's a little bit of kind of gaming the game mechanics a little bit rather than any sound, you know, analogous to real world tactical reason. Although I guess you could probably extrapolate some sort of similar explanation. But anyway, that's why I'm doing that. I've just got a couple little skirmishers up here that I've thrown up here. We've got the cav up here, and maybe they can kind of... We do have sight. And this is during deployment phase, right? McDowell's guys are kind of forward in their deployment zone, ready to come on down. So there's a few skirmishers here and some cav to kind of slow them down, since we're hardly in a position to receive them. Even if they marched straight, it's not really about worrying about making contact with these guys, but also I don't want them pushing the federal deployment zone down in here any further than can be helped because of Magruder coming in over here. Anyway, just thought I'd show that, and I'll be back. It's about half an hour before sunset, and as described, I just put 2 skirmisher units up here. They're in woods cover, kind of here, not quite firing on the ford, but in this little clump here, just as they come out of the ford. They haven't done too much. I mean, well, let's see. Okay, they've inflicted 150 casualties at a cost of 2 of their own. Which is pretty minor in the big scheme of things, but it's caused them to kind of clump up, and they haven't really continued their march down. So they've achieved their purpose. Longstreet actually is already starting to come on the field just before the deployment zone. Didn't think that was going to happen, but it did. And here at about 30 minutes of game time, should have sunset of a big deployment zone, and I'll get everybody set up for day 2. Yeah, we've reached the overnight deployment phase, and if you look at this deployment zone, it kind of shows what I was talking about. If this division were not here, and if this brigade and division commander were not here, then I think Magruder, Jackson's, and Longstreet's deployment zones would be separated. As it is, it's one big deployment zone. Okay, the position is set up and just about ready to begin. About 66,000 of us and 64,000 of them. And everybody is on the field now this morning. And it's pretty simple. We've got 1st Corps, Longstreet on the right. It's got a couple divisions covering these fords here with some parapets. Ewell's division is kind of like a reserve. Can respond over this way, can respond over this way. And Ewell does have one Kentucky brigade. Walker's brigade is nervous, wavering. He has come up. His morale is low. Yeah, he's maxed out at 37 fighting spirit. So this is one of the brigades that will need to be replaced. So we've really got two brigades here in reserve with Ewell. This is Longstreet's artillery. It's got a nice open firing area here covering this road headed toward Island Ford. Jackson's Corps is in the center manning basically this line right here. And he's the most concentrated corps. His artillery's back a little bit. There is one battery of 10-pound Parrots in here, captured, I'd forgotten about. Anyway, his 3 divisions on the parapets. Bate is the other Kentucky brigade. He's a little bit better off. 41% he's maxed out at. So technically he's stable, but I don't think he's really going to do much better. Then we've got one kind of reserve brigade here, Simon Buckner, in reserve behind Harper and Ramser. And then Magruder's corps is somewhat strung out through here. I don't know. I probably should have drawn these lines a little bit more compact. Maybe instead of this, something more like this. But we do have a nice, well, anyway, one division here, one division here, one division here. This is open through here. I've got his artillery under QJ, kind of oriented this way, with Chambliss Cav way over here on the left to protect this flank. And with that, the Federals do still have quite a bit of marching to do. They're still hung up over here, and who knows what McClellan's doing up in this area. Well, he might be over here too. But so, whenever the Federals show up, I will be back. Okay, well, I think fight is pretty much on. One army is here. Let me look at these names here. I see Sherman. Yeah, I think this is McDowell's force here. And I believe we're seeing the leading elements of McClellan's force over here. Yes, there's Rosecrans. He's a brigade commander in the Army of Occupation. There's Schleich. So, looks like Jackson is going to receive this attack, and Magruder's going to receive this one. It might get pretty hot over here because McClellan has the larger force. And I don't believe Longstreet is going to be directly engaged. So I probably ought to already start moving these forces. Option 1 would be pull them back a little bit, move them over here to Magruder's sector. Option 2, crossbow run, orient this way, and come straight across. That's a long way to go before they're able to support Magruder. It's a long way to go either way. Let's just see how this shapes up. It may not be any more complicated than simply pulling Anderson's division back a little bit and just marching them over through here, and maybe put them on this railroad. That may be all we need to do, and then perhaps Pender can just kind of swing and orient this way, if necessary. Steele was up here, caught sight of the leading Federal brigades. He's coming back over here by the artillery. I'm going to push Heath's skirmisher line up onto this creek line here. Yeah, I'm just going to pull Anderson. Well, I really don't like leaving that big hole in the line there. I think maybe the better thing to do is pull Pender back, bring him over here. Of course, that leaves a hole here. I feel like that's a little more tenable, though. Come on, McDowell. Well, one thing I know for sure is that Longstreet's position is not needed. I'm going to move Ewell back over to here. Going to move Hood, Crossbow Run, about like this. I'm going to move Pickett, Crossbow Run, about like this. Taking their howitzers with them. Let's move Longstreet up. Well, a little bit of distance, but I think Longstreet's kind of okay where he is. His courier either has to go this way or this way, not right across Bull Run. Might be making a mistake by dividing his corps on either side of Bull Run like that. Okay, pretty soon they're going to be beginning their assault on the center at Island Ford. Yeah. I'm going to bring Pender's division over here. Not quite ready to move Anderson out because I don't know how far over this way Dowell's flank is going to extend. Let's go ahead and put this artillery like right in there. Hey Bear. Let's put your horse artillery just right there. Kind of exposed, but also kind of protected by Bull Run. Okay, we've got skirmishers engaged here on the militia brigade. We've seen these guys before, huh? Okay, those artillery banging away. 10-pound parrots banging away. Yeah. Pelham's got all three of his battalions going. These howitzers are firing. Longstreet's getting across, starting to get across the run there, somewhat. If the functionality were in the game, this is a situation where I would like to have the option to temporarily put Ewell under Jackson's control over here. Can't really do that though. And issuing a detach order to Ewell doesn't really do anything. Any orders I give to Ewell's division still have to come all the way from Longstreet, even when he's detached. Okay. Some of our skirmishers have already been driven in over here. Ramser's skirms are about to fall. It's alright. $850 to $370 so far going in our favor. Pender. Yeah, I want you. No, I don't want you going that way. Come over here first. And then come over here. Yeah, that'll work. Oh, we got Federals over in here now. Vacating this part of the line may be a... Do they have enough guys where they're going to extend all the way across on an unbroken line? It's possible. I should have maybe counted up the number of brigades. Okay, Allegheny Johnson is the division meeting the initial attack here. Let's bring Ewell on up. Rosser don't know how I'm going to use him yet, if at all, but however Rosser might get used, this isn't a fantastic place for him to do it, so let's kind of send him over here where he can cross this ford and get an open ground on the other side of the run. Hood, what are you doing, man? I told you to come over here. Pickett listened. Okay, Harper's doing okay. 250 casualties. Ramser's doing better. Oh, you know what? Let's do some ace of spades. Better benefit from cover. I know I use iron discipline a lot. Changing midstream. Just kind of thinking, what does Ramser need right now? Cover. Okay, how is this howitzer battery making out? Yeah, they're doing fine. They're not really getting shot at. Had a little bit of a minor morale debuff just from the presence of broken skirmishers. That'll clear. Nothing really happening over here yet. Pender's getting on over here. This could get problematic. I just don't feel like McDowell's got enough guys to really extend over this way much. And in any case, Early's division is unengaged for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and pull Anderson back and put him in Pender's old spot in the line. If I could go back now, I would just move Anderson all the way over instead. I think McClellan's going to get in time to get sorted, though. Not too worried about it. How are we doing on ammo? 38 rounds a man, 45 rounds a man. Is it time for Buckner to go up on the line? Buckner's got a perk. Aces. I haven't done it in this campaign or the last one, I think, but I have used tons of Ace of Spade before in a campaign, and I really like that perk. It fits my style of play anyway, with, you know, fortifications and hiding in trees and crap like that. Okay, I want to detach this battery just because I don't want him moving with the infantry. Yeah, not that. some reason Lomax started real low morale too. And those are Virginia cavalry. Well, maybe that's why, I guess. Okay, yeah, this artillery's... Some of them are banging away anyway. Ooh. A-Bears, it's because they're Maryland. and they're getting shot at. Come on back here. Get out of there, A-Bear. Oh, I think they already routed. That's alright. And I want to do the same thing here. I want to detach Vaughn's. No, not that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move Longstreet across the run. Let's bring Miss Jackson's cavalry. Oh, right, yeah, Rosser. I meant to do that. I think this has pretty much been beaten, but oh. Let's get Harper off the line. Let's move Buckner onto the line. McClellan doing? Not much yet. Let's go ahead and get these divisions up on the railroad embankment. Feels a little safer now. Still hasn't gotten his order to go into single line. Hood hasn't received his order to begin advancing. Longstreet needs to get over here. Okay. Harper is off the parapet. Buckner is on the parapet. Buckner probably needs long-range orders again, yes, because I charged him onto the line to ensure that he actually got there without stopping to fire. Is Bride taking casualties? No. He's just banging away with his Mississippis. So he's doing fine. McClellan's still piddling around over here. Take these skirmishers and put them kind of here. Creek cover. And we have a little... Yeah, we got a little bit of woods up here. Let's get some skirms in here. Okay, Pickett's getting his line sorted out. Hood is advancing across the creek. That's fine. Buckner defending 4th against 4th Brigade. Okay, 9.6% to 1.9%, 6,000 to almost 1,300. I think things are going fine for the Army of Northern Virginia today. Harper may disagree with that. Yeah, I kind of let them take a little bit too many casualties there. They're doing okay though, and 6th Brigade is up to 5 stars. Harper himself at 3 stars. Ooh, Bagby has taken some fire. Let's go ahead and move Bagby off the line. These howitzers are still banging away fine. Actually getting a little low on ammo. Alright, Pickett. Get across the creek. Yeah. Let's get skirms back out in front for screening screening purposes. Bride. How about some ace of spade? Bartow not there yet, but very close to a perk slot. Same with Cummings. There's just skirms here, I think. Nope. 4th Brigade's back. Nope. No, they're not. These Mississippi armed skirmishers out just in the, yeah, well, looks like they read my mind. Okay, these guys are moving forward. Pickett, come on, get across. Get across. I'm gonna go ahead and advance. John Bell Hood. Oh, McClellan's coming forward now. Let's get these brigades up on the line. it's already pretty clear these howitzers aren't going to be able to stay here. Let's move them back to here. Maybe they'll still be able to fire over the railroad embankment. I'm not sure. Okay, McBride skirms low on ammo. Come on in. Tolliver, bring your skirms in. They don't seem to be doing anything useful there. They're not shooting at anybody. Weisinger. Well, they'll come in when they come in. These skirms are broken, falling back. Loring's will soon. We'll just let them do what they do until they decide it's time to come home. Is this artillery still able to shoot? No. Not within range yet, though. I don't know if they're going to be able to sneak across or not. Sneak a shot across the line, that is. We'll see. Okay, I want to set these two artillery right about here. Let's get this cav over here. Wade Hampton and Stewart right next to each other. It's kind of cool. Let's just get Hood to just push right on in here. I think it's going to be fine over here. Oh, I don't think Lomax needs his scouts anymore. Good. Push on through there, or not, that's Pickett. Advance through there. %. I wonder why so low. I don't think these are Kentucky cavalry. Let's bring Rosser up to about here. McBride's skirmishers? Or is that? No, that's McBride. Okay. Well, you know what? Bates, it's going to have to be your turn. Yeah, I don't think. They're going to be retreating soon, actually. Okay, John Bell Hood is engaged. And the skirms are superfluous. Full of men. Full of men. Lee, pull him in. That's Rooney Lee I got in charge of this infantry brigade. Okay. These guys are tired. They're in the ford. We got cohesion problems. Just run the cab up in here and do some quick firing. Leave them mounted so that if it doesn't work out so hot, they can bail. Trust his morale. Definitely not going to charge into melee with him, but we'll go ahead and bring Lomax over here as well. Let's push Ewell across. Back closer to Long Street. What's going on over here? Not much. Push Hood across. The run. That might have been a bad idea. Those guys don't have any problems, and they're not broken. Oh, shit. They may be low morale. They do have Maynards. Let's see if they can finish breaking this guy. Monster's in kind of a bad spot. I'm going to go ahead and dismount him, just to reduce his incoming casualties. Low max. Bad show. That's all I kind of got. These guys are wavering, so nice job, Rosser. Come on, James. Throw these guys off Rosser's flank. Keep moving forward to stay within range of those musketoons, which is not a great situation, but it's better than falling back and not being able to return fire. At least that brigade is broken now. Nice job. Okay, James, get across the creek if you can. What is this? Stewart routed. Yeah, that's Lomax's brigade. A little bit longer, Rosser. You know what? Just fall back a little bit here in the cover. It's fine. Meanwhile, Jones is going to come up behind this brigade and give him some Hall rifle action. And Bonham, I'll let you go get rid of that artillery. What are you doing? Bomb. Bro. Just go shoot at the artillery for crying out loud. There he goes. People withdrawing. Oh, that's our guy. That's A-Bear. Yeah. Our engineers wanted no part of this. I just joined the army to build telegraph stations. Close are we? 12,000, 20.6%. I'm gonna do something about Cav. I'm not gonna mess with Rosser anymore. He's taking 650 casualties. Is McClellan doing anything over here? No. I don't know what is going to happen, but here, Heath, just advance your guys up here and see if you can. Fender. No, I'm gonna do it within the. Yeah, he's retreating. It's got to be within the. There we go. No, whatever. It's only 19 minutes left. Bottom, get that artillery? Yeah. Okay. I think it's going to wind up being a minor victory. Yeah. We still had several percentage points to go. Still 12,000 to 2,600. I think that's a good day at the office, huh? Okay. Well, we inflicted 11,400, so they took. That was an estimate, so this is the more exact number. Yeah. No prisoners either side. Relatively light cavalry losses. Actually, no. We lost more cavalry than the Union did. That's because Rosser was heavily engaged there, and I kind of overextended him a little bit across that ford, not realizing there was still an unbroken infantry brigade on his flank. Oops. Second Corps, 8,900. Yeah, they were in the center, taking the main assault. And then First Corps kind of did a flanking action, inflicted a few. How did your artillery do? Helm's guys, 500 and almost 550 casualties inflicted from back there. That's good. I bet a lot of those were from the Parrots. No, pretty even. Pretty even. I think the Rock Bridge is actually the Parrots, so that's pretty good performance from the Corps artillery. Of course, Allegheny Johnsons did the vast majority of casualties here. They were right there on the objective. Rosser took about 650, inflicted almost 850, so slightly in his favor. 4th Brigade, I don't remember which is which. Oh, and this one howitzer battalion alone inflicted 575 casualties. That's pretty good. So these howitzers must have gotten off multiple canister shots. I'm not sure I've ever. Well, I'll probably have, but it is extremely rare to see one battalion of artillery do that many casualties in a battle in this game. Hell, this battalion, also 24-pound howitzers, 285. And Crutchfield, 328. Wow. So altogether, the 6 battalions in Jackson's Corps did like 2,500. That is pretty good. I mean, it was great artillery conditions, right? Nice open ground all the way through here, good fields of fire. So, nice job, Artie. Okay. That looks like a pretty small national morale drop and military experience rise, given the numbers of men involved. Lomax disgraced? Yeah, I can see that. I mean, normally that national morale drop is about 1%, and the military XP rise is about 1%. And it tends to be a little bit bigger for bigger battles. And this is one of the biggest battles we've had in this campaign. It's over 100,000 men on the field. Huh, just seems odd. Okay, we captured 6,400 small arms, and because these are Eastern armies, I'm kind of wondering if maybe we did a little bit better in types of weapons. Some of these brigades have been in existence since the beginning of the campaign, instead of recruited afterward. Yeah. Only 5 days left for our cav weapons. Ooh, I think we picked up a few more Hall carbines. Still not nearly enough for a cav brigade. Got a lot of 24-pound howitzers again, but I think I bought those. That's the same. That's the same. How much time we got left? 2.3 days for our rifled artillery. 256 3-inch ordnance rifles and 256 6-pound wires. So we got like 500 guns coming in just a couple days. And then that's it. I think that's all the artillery I'm ever going to buy for the rest of this campaign. If we can't make it work with that, then, you know, I'm not going to spend any more money on artillery after this. Okay, yeah, I think we captured some Springfield rifle muskets there. I don't remember exactly what I had before, but it was not nearly 9.6. So I think we just picked some up here. That's great. Several thousand. That looks the same. These look the same. Same. We might have picked up a few Napoleons there. That might be the guns we got. Yeah, these look the same. I think we got Springfield rifle muskets. That's pretty good. I like that. Okay. Alrighty. Before ending the episode, I just want to cover one thing. Something else that I did off camera. I have remarked in a previous episode that when I was talking about the replenishing units, and I said something along the lines of, maybe the thing to do is to go put a little, a separate recruiting command in each state so that they recruit faster, and from there they can furlough faster, right? You get a unit in an army, you want to furlough it, transfer it back to its state, furlough it there, and then transfer it back. And that might actually be faster than furloughing it directly from the frontline army. It might not. I don't know, but I like the idea. But then I thought, well, I'm not really going to recruit that many more units in this campaign. So I wasn't actually going to go do that in this campaign. Or at least I wasn't sold that I was going to. However, back at the beginning of this campaign, and also at the beginning of every other campaign that I've posted thus far on YouTube, that idea always comes up of, hey, fort commands. Put political officers in them. They won't get in trouble there. They're not going to cause you problems. Put the bad ones there. They're still better than the volunteers. And you get a little bit of state support that way. And I don't know why this didn't occur to me immediately, but boom, you can do the same thing with a little recruiting command in every state. It's like 11 more fort commands. So, I did that. Underneath Cooper's HQ, alongside Bragg's, and this will be kind of a collecting center, I've now got a little bitty department in each state. Most of the states. I think I forgot to do Virginia. And so now I've got a bunch more political officers in command, and we've got places where we can recruit brigades pretty quickly. You know, here's one in Alabama, the Mississippi one's up here at Corinth, Tennessee one's in Nashville. Most of them, it actually placed most of them, not all, but most kind of near the state capitals. Macon, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. So, I did that, and I'm probably going to run time a little bit more. Hopefully, not well, if another major battle happens, I'll just record it. But I'll try to get those cav weapons in and get the rifled artillery out to the armies. Do something about these blasted Kentucky units, hopefully. And hopefully I can get all that done before the next episode. If not, well, we'll just take it as it comes. If you like what we're doing with the channel, if you like this content, then leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe. If you're new to the series, new to the channel, and you want to catch up on what's been going on in this campaign, I'm going to link a playlist to the series right here. At any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.